Hello, learners at home. Welcome to English Studies class for primary 4 to 6. My name is Ezego Roslyn Ijoma. Before we proceed, I have a question for you. What are verbs? What are verbs? Good. Verbs shows action. Verbs show action. When we talk about action, we talk about work. Action of a verb is what? Something that is independent. It makes a meaning on its own. Verb is an action word that can stand on its own. For instance, walk, stand, pull, throw, hang, push, jump, hold, sleep, push, jump, hold, sleep, sit, swim, paint, climb. All these things are action words. Verbs can also tell us the time of an action took place. For instance, past. If the action takes place in the past, is it present or going to happen in future? For example, played is an action that happened in the past. Present, play, that is present now. We play, something that will happen in the future. Went is action that happened tells us about action that happened in the past. Go, action that will happen that happens present. We go, action that will happen in the present. Ate is a past action. Eat, present action. We eat, future action. Saw, past action. See, present action. We see, future action. This will lead us to our today's topic, verb tenses. Our today's topic is verb tenses. Learning objectives. We are going to define verb tenses. Explain the three main verbs in English. Make sentences with the tenses. These are the expectations that are going to give feedback after this lesson. Definition of verb. Verb is a word that shows an action or state of being. Verb is a word that shows an action or state of being. When we talk about the state, just as we have mentioned the actions, like stand, sleep, sweep, then state talks about our feeling, our emotion. Tense talks about time. What time does it happen? Thus, verb tenses tells us when an action took place. It tells us when the action took place, the time of an action. For example, when a person did something, or when something happened. When did something happen? Or when someone does and performs an action. It can also tell us if the action is habitual. Is it ongoing, habitual action? For instance, we have a routine. There are things that you do every day. For instance, what time do you wake up in the morning? What time do you take your breakfast? The time you do your homework. All these things are routine, things that we do always or every day. We call it habitual. We also have fact. What's science? Something that is just like a truth. For instance, you say that the sky is blue. Ongoing, an action that is going on. Action that is going on. Or completed, or action that have been completed in the past. All these things what verb tenses tells us. Three main verbs in English. We have three main verbs in English. We have present, talks about now. Past, talks about then, something that happened in the past, that is then. We also have a future, something that will happen in later or in the future. For instance, we have present. The present tense is a verb that tells us something is happening now. For instance, what is happening now? I'm talking, I'm teaching. That is something that verb that is happening now. Example, I'm eating the apple. I'm eating apple. Past. The past tense of a verb tells us that something already happened. Something that happened in the past, that have already happened and completed in the past. Example, I ate apple. The apple means that the apple have been eaten. Future. The future tense is a verb that tells us something that will happen later. Example, I will eat the apple later. I will still going to eat the apple. Main verbs continue. The main verb have the present, the past, and future tenses are divided into 4 aspects. The simple, progressive, perfect, and perfect progressive. When we talk about the simple, present or past or future, means that something that just finished, action that have been happening now. Progressive, something that is still going on. Past, when we talk about something that will still happen in the future, and perfect is something that will be happening in the future and still continues to move on. The tense of a verb is determined by when the action took place. It tells us when the action takes place. For instance, past tense. I walked means I walked in the past. The ed shows the work had been completed. I walked. The action had been completed in the past. Present tense. I walk. Now I walk presently. Then future tense tells us I will walk. I will walk. Meaning that I'm still preparing to do the work, to walk. The tense of a verb shows the time of an event or action. Example, past, simple past tense. The action is simply mentioned and understood to have taken in the past. When we talk about simple past tense, it's an action that has been what? Mentioned and taken place in the past. Simple present tense means the action is simply mentioned and there's nothing being said about its completeness. The action just mentioned, just as I say, I walk. But nothing I was stated whether it has been completed or not. Simple future tense means simple future is used when we plan or make a decision to do something. Nothing is said about the time in the future. We make the plan, what we are going to do in the future. That is simple future tense. We have planned what we are going to do in the future, but the time we are going to do it have not been mentioned. We also have past continuous tense. The action was ongoing till a certain time in the past. Meaning that the action have taken place in certain time in the past. But it's a continuous action, but is used in past tense. Present continuous tense. The action is ongoing or still going on, hence continuous. When we talk about present continuous, means that the action is still what? Going on. Presently, the action is still on. Future continuous tense. The future continuous tense is used to express action at a particular moment in the future. The action that will still happen in the future. That's what you mean by future continuous. For instance, I will be teaching. Meaning that in the future, I will still be teaching. Examples. Yesterday, Sam played blocks. Yesterday, Sam played blocks. This shows the action is done in the past. Because yesterday, Sam had played the blocks. It's action that played in the past, happened in the past. Today, the children play. Today, the children play. Maybe they are still playing, but the action is in the present. The action happens today or every day. Meaning that the children, every day they play is a form of habitual action. Tomorrow, she will play with her doll. The action will be done in the future. You say tomorrow she will play with her doll. The action is something that is going to do in the future, not something that has been done or even going on now. Then I have a question for you. Yesterday, what type of clothes do you wear yesterday? What is the color of your clothes yesterday? Then today, what is the color of the clothes you are wearing now? Tomorrow, what type of the color of the clothes you are going to intend to wear tomorrow? This is what we are going to help us understand more about verb tenses that talks about the past, the present, and the future. Example, yesterday I wore a red shirt. Yesterday I wore a red shirt. Today I'm wearing a blue shirt. Or today I'm wearing a white shirt. Tomorrow I will wear a green shirt. That is what I intend to wear tomorrow, a green shirt. Good. More examples of tenses. I wash my plate. I wash my plate. The verb wash is in the present tense. I wash my plate is what is talked about present. I will wash my plate. The verb will wash is in future tense, telling you that when I will wash my plate, that I will still wash my plate. But the other one says what? I wash, meaning that is what? Presently, I wash. Then the past, I washed my plate. I washed my plate. The verb washed is in the past tense. The verb washed is in the past tense, meaning that I have washed the plate. We are going to talk about simple present tense. The simple present tense is when you use a verb to tell about things that happen continually in the present, like every day, every week, or every month. You say, well, present tense talks about something that happens every day, just like you have routine, or every week, or yearly. We use the simple present tense for anything that happens often or is factual, just something that is a fact. For instance, we say what? The sea is blue is a fact or scientific. Example, I go to school every day. Every day I go to school is a present tense. We use do and does to make questions with the present simple tense. When we use what? We want to ask questions, we can use do. Do is when we what? When it's in plural, maybe involves one, two, or more person, we use do. If it's singular, we use does. We use does for the third person singular, like she, he, it. It simplifies something that is not what? A man or woman, like dog or animal. We use it. And do for the others. We use do and does with question words like where, what, when. For example, where do Peter and Paul live? Peter and Paul is more than one. It's plural. That's why we use do. If it's one person, we use does. More examples of simple present tense. Just as we say that simple present tense indicates an action which happens in the present, but is not necessary for action that happens right now. Simple present tense indicates unchanging situations, general truths, scientific facts, habits, fixed arrangements, and frequently occurring events. Example, we have positive, negative, and question. Example, I start, I do not start, or I don't start. The apostrophe in don't, up, we call it constructions, represents a word which is L. That is the word that I do not start. Then question, do I start? You start is a positive question. The negative, you do not or don't start. Then in question, do you start? You can see that when we use do, we are talking about what? Plural. But when we use does, we are talking about a singular. He starts, he does not or doesn't start. Does he start? You see, we use does because it's singular. She starts, she does not, doesn't or start. Does she start? He starts, he does not or doesn't start. Does it start? We start, we do not or don't start. Do we start? You start, you do not or don't start. Do you start? They start, they do not or don't start. Do they start? This to show you when we use word do, when we are talking about plural, it's more than one. Remember, verb does not only express action. It's not only action that verbs tells us about. They can also express state of being, that is the feeling. Example, I am hungry. Can you see hungry? You can't, but you will feel it. The verb am is in present tense. Am is used as a present tense. I was hungry. The verb was means that it's action that happened in the past. The feeling I felt in the past. I will be hungry. The verb will be is a future tense. Something that maybe in future I will be hungry. Remember, verbs have different tenses that shows when an event occurs or occurred. Example, we have present tense. I cook every day. Simple past, I cooked yesterday. Simple future tense, I will cook tomorrow. You cook every day, as in simple present tense. Then past tense, you cooked yesterday. Future tense, you will cook tomorrow. He, she, it cooks every day. Because it's talking about one person. That's why the verb there we use cooks. He, she, it cooked yesterday. In simple future tense, he, she, it will cook tomorrow. We cook every day. That is simple present tense. We cooked yesterday. Simple past tense. We will cook tomorrow. Simple future tense. We are going to practice what we have learned in this lesson. For instance, we are going to choose the verb that match with these sentences. Last week, we dash to market. Last week, we dash to market. I want us to choose the correct verb. Go, went. Are we going to say last week we go to market? No. Last week we went to market. That is the correct answer. The man dash breakfast every morning. The man, are we going to say the man eats or eats breakfast every morning? The man, good. The man eats breakfast every morning. Yesterday, Ada dashed to Lagos. Yesterday, Ada travel or traveled. Are we going to say yesterday Ada traveled to Lagos? No. Yesterday, Ada traveled to Lagos. It's an action that happened in the past. Some minutes ago, Joy saw or see a lion. Some minutes ago is something that happened in the past. So we are going to use saw. Joy saw a lion. We will dash to school tomorrow. We will dash to school tomorrow. Is it went? Can we say we went to school tomorrow? No. We will go to school because action that will happen in the future. Now we are going to have a home fun. We are going to define verb tenses. Explain the three main verbs in English and make sentences with the tenses. Thank you. See you next. I remain your teacher, Ezego Roslyn Ijoma.
Thank you.